What's up, everybody? Ryan here, down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Gonna check over a residential boiler for my cousin, Brent. What's up, dude?
What's up, everybody?
Quite a hike up here, man.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Now, Brent lives right down from Carson Street in Pittsburgh. I live about an hour outside the city, so I wanted to come down and see my cousin for one, but he's got a boiler. He bought this house a couple years ago.
Yep.
A couple years ago. So we're gonna clean it out. We're gonna check the operation. We're gonna bleed out any registers that need bled. We're gonna drain down the expansion tank, give this thing a look over and see if there's anything we need to do. So I'm gonna get all my stuff out of the truck.
We've been thick as thieves since I came out the birth canal.
Well, you know, they say that your cousins are your first friends in life. So this guy right here, number one.
Hey, glad to have you here too.
So let's get into this. Brent's got a pretty interesting property here. Is this a 3-story house?
Yeah.
We got a 3-story house. The boiler feeds all of that. I know he's got an air handler and an air conditioner for some of the rooms. So what year was this house built?
It's over 150 years.
1870. 1870 this house was built. So we'll take a look around. We're gonna check things over. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Get some lights on here. All right, guys, so we got a Weil McLain Gold boiler here. Pretty nice little boilers. And we're gonna pull these burners out and clean them up. I'm gonna check all the wiring, make sure everything's good. Got a little bit of low pressure on that, so we're gonna address the water feed and make sure everything's working. So let's go ahead and dig in. All right, everybody, I had him kick it up at the thermostat and confirmed everything does come on. Circulator pump is running and all that stuff. The burners look like they're a little dirty. I see some nasty stuff in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these burners out and we're gonna brush them off. We're gonna sweep out the bottom of the boiler and just get it kind of cleaned up. I'm gonna loosen up these 2 screws right here and we'll clean the pilot and clean the burners. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and get this pilot pulled out and all these burners and we'll sweep everything out. All right, everybody, now you can see we got a bunch of debris in there. So you can see it's pretty dirty. So after we clean the burners up, we'll get the shop vac in and we'll sweep all that out. We got 2 Phillips head screws here. It's gonna hold this pilot in place. So just go ahead and get those loose. Try not to strip them out, because if you strip out the Phillips end on that, then you gotta, I don't know, grind it off or get some pliers on there, something. So come on, you. This one's being, jeez. There it goes. So you want to make sure you got a good screwdriver. It's not rounded off on your Phillips bit, because that's what's gonna round those off. So get your 7/16 wrench and you can loosen that right up, and then you can just go ahead and get it out. And there you are. Your orifice is right there, and it's a little crusty. We've got some crap in there. Let me see if I can get you a better shot of that. Kind of be hard to pick up on a camera, but there's a bunch of crap down there in that orifice. So let's see if we can get that out of there. All right, guys, I can't really get the orifice out. I'm not gonna force it out, but I gave it a little scrape with my thermostat screwdriver. Bunch of crap came out, so I think we're good to go. I can see the hole now and it does not look plugged up. So I don't know if there was a little spider web in there, or what kind of byproduct of combustion, soot or whatnot, but it's all cleaned out now. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and clean these up now while we got it out. And just shine them up. You don't need to overdo it. You don't need to, you know, you don't want to mark up the igniter or the flame sensor. You just want to lightly clean them, and that looks good. I'm gonna hit that igniter just a few more times. But you wanna get in there, you just wanna clean all this stuff out and make sure it's good to go. So I'd say we're good on this. I'm gonna clean the end of this pilot tubing. And we're good to go there. All right, now before I clean all the burners, I'm gonna get this pilot tubing put back in, and I'm gonna get my screws right next to it. That way you don't lose them or anything like that. I didn't drive my work van down here. I've got my personal pickup truck, so I don't have everything that I might need. So you wanna be real careful not to lose anything, and you wanna be real careful not to break anything, because it's Saturday. I'm in Pittsburgh. There's nowhere I'm gonna be able to go to get parts. So I've got the pilot tubing tightened back up. I'm gonna set that off to the side. I've got my 2 screws. I'm gonna make sure they're right here. Make sure that your burners aren't, oh yeah, look at that. I mean, that's what we're dealing with there. So get them all cleaned out, start yourself a little pile, and then we'll sweep all this up with the shop vac. All right, I'm gonna shop back up my mess. I'm gonna run the sweeper through the end of the burner and just make sure there's nothing left in there, no spider webs or anything like that. All right, everybody, I'm gonna kick on the shop vac. We're gonna clean up the mess and sweep out these burners. I like to feel and make sure that air is moving in through these, so that one's good and clean. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my pilot put back onto the mounting bracket, right like that, and we'll push these burners off to the side while I clean out the bottom of the boiler. I like to use my magnetic Phillips head right here. It's just one less hand I need to try to position all this stuff. And I got it on there. Don't over tighten them, just snug them up. So now we got all our burners clean, we got our pilot clean, we got it reattached. So let's move on over to the boiler and clean the bottom of that out. Just get all that crap out of the bottom. I just generally just sweep around and get all the cobwebs up. I'll clean up this area here in front of the boiler. So let's go ahead and sweep it out. Something I like to do is I like to take the end of the sweeper, I like to stick it over each orifice. It just gets some pressure, some vacuum pressure on each of those orifices. Make sure there's no dirt or anything plugging those up. Spiders like to get in there, build nests. So we'll check all those once we get the burners back in. We fire it up and take a look at the flames. So we'll go ahead and do that now. All right, we're all swept up. Now this one electrical connector got pretty warm and it cracked apart on me. So we're gonna go ahead and cut that off and put a whole new connector on there. All right, let's go ahead and get your wire connector off of there. I just lost my Milwaukee needle nose / wire strippers, so I'm gonna have to buy a pair of those. So I'm going with the Klein Tools wire strippers here, my backups. Gonna go ahead and get it on. pushed in there. I can see the wire. It's buttoned up right there. And then these wire crimpers here. I'm gonna go with the insulated crimp here and go ahead and crimp it on there. You don't gotta kill it, just crimp her down, as you can see, and then I like to give it a good tug. We're good to go. I'm gonna tuck these up out of the way. I'm gonna get these burners put back in place. All right, guys, these burners, they go in pretty much just as easy as they come out. You wanna stick it in, you wanna lift it up, you wanna get the orifice on, and then there's a little slot way in the back that the end of the burner is gonna fall into. The only way you could mess this up is if you put the burner in upside down, like this, see? And you don't want that, so make sure they're the right way, and it should fall right into place. We got our pilot burner here. Go ahead, same thing, lift it up, slide it in place, and find the notch. And where are you? Get in there. Yep. This one wants to be a little bit of a pain. I'm gonna move the camera so I can get in there. There it is. That one needed a little convincing. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my pilot tubing hooked back up to the gas valve. .7/16 wrench. You don't have to kill it, just snug it up. And there we are. And then we've got the flame sensor and the igniter wire, and they'll go right back in place. There's high voltage, and then flame sensors right back here. All right. And then we'll slide this plate right back in place. There's 2 screws that it falls on. And it's down. All right, our pressure in the boiler is very, very minimal. Here's 20. I mean, we're down. So we're gonna address that fill valve up there. We're also gonna drain down this expansion tank. So I think what we're gonna do right now is just go ahead and drain down the expansion tank. All right, I got my hose hooked up here to the expansion tank. Now normally on these expansion tanks, you'll have a fitting here that allows air to suck into the expansion tank as you're draining the water out. And you can see I've got my water shut off to the tank, so I don't see any fitting here that's gonna allow me to have air enter in, but I'm gonna go ahead and drain it anyway, and we'll see what we can do. I guess any water out of there is better than none. Yeah, I hear something bubbling, so we'll go ahead and let this thing do its thing. Now let's go take a look and see if we got any water coming out. I don't think we're gonna. Let me see what I can do about this. All right, guys, I loosened up my hose here a little bit. That's allowing some air to move. I hear it gurgling. It's starting to drain. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let it do its thing. And we're gonna get this expansion tank drained down. I'm not sure why they don't have the fitting that allows water or air to enter into the expansion tank, but hey, it is what it is. So, all right, everybody, I've just resorted to taking buckets out. So as that water comes out, it's sucking air in. So we're gonna do a few buckets of this and just let it go.
Dump it out?
Yeah. I think we'll get another bucket out of this. We'll be good. That would have been at least half of the expansion tank. All right, everybody, I got as much water drained out of this as I'm gonna get. You can see it's very light now. I can push it up, so I think we're gonna be in good shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick the water back on, and I don't hear any water feeding. We got to adjust. We got to address this water fill. That thing, I should hear water filling in. So let me get some light on that, and we'll see what we got going on. So I've got no water filling now. Make sure I've got my water on to this. I'm gonna, oh yeah, and there it goes. I think he's gonna be needing a new fill. Let's see where it shuts off at. I just bumped it, now I can hear water moving. Let me just let that go for a bit and see where it shuts off at. Well, I got pressure climbing. We're about, well, I'd say 2 or 3, 4 pounds in there. So I'm just gonna let it go and see if it shuts off or if it just keeps filling. But I think he's gonna be needing maybe a fill valve here at some point in time, which isn't gonna happen this year because I'm not draining 3 floors right at the beginning of winter. This shutoff valve is not looking too hot either. It's pretty crusty. So I'm going to see where it shuts off. If it doesn't shut off, I'll make an adjustment here in the back on the adjustment screw and tighten it down. But we're gonna sit and watch for a bit and see where we shut off at. Well, I got that fill valve set and we're shutting off right around 10 pounds of pressure. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing up. We're gonna see if once the water's hot, if it brings it up to pressure. But normally you want about 12 to 15 pounds of pressure on a system like this. So we got it all cleaned up. All the wiring looks good. I know the circulator pump works. Sometimes he has a little bit of drip coming from his TP valve, but we might kill 2 birds with 1 stone here next spring and get him a new fill valve and replace the TP valve. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it fired up, and then we'll see if he needs to bleed out any of his registers. Go ahead and kick it back on. There we go. Fired right up. We're gonna go ahead and let this water heat up. We're sitting at right around 10 pounds of pressure, and the water temperature is 70 degrees. Our circulator pump is running, so we're just gonna let this thing go and make sure we start getting nice hot water back. And I want to test this limit and make sure it's shutting the water off at 180 degrees. So we're set at 180. We'll go ahead and let it heat up to 180, and we'll go from there. What'd you get?
Oh, I'll go grab it. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Oh, I'll come up.
My mom, she wanted this to come yesterday on my actual birthday, but I thought, well, it's fine. If it comes the day after, that it'll be here when me and Ryan can have some of it. So.
Oh, that's nice. Edible arrangements, huh?
Yep.
I got my sister one of those once. Well, Brent, let's take a look at some of these registers. I want to show some of the old style radiators that you have. We're not going to mess with his computer, but as you can see right underneath here is a cast iron radiator. We should be able to get to the bleeder, but I doubt he's going to have an issue, so I'm not going to make him move this now unless there's an absolute problem. Well, you got one behind that couch?
This one's back here, yep.
Looks like you used to have, you see these holes?
Yeah.
So you used to have a big cast iron radiator, but they replaced it with, well, it was the newer style back then, but even this is an old style. And I think he's got one on the front porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. Old school. Shut-off valves on them, and I can already feel it warming up. Yeah. You don't see these too often anymore. But yeah, it's already getting warm, and I just turned the boiler on. So we'll leave this one off for now. Yeah, Brent's a big Steelers fan, big Pittsburgh fan. Looks like our temperature's increasing. We're up to almost 90 degrees. So I'm gonna let this thing run, and in the meantime, I'm gonna get my hose wrapped up. I'm gonna get all my tools cleaned up, and me and my cousin are going to talk about where we're going to go have lunch and where we're going to drink a couple beers at today. So once I get this cleaned up, once this temperature comes up, we'll go ahead and bring you back. We're at about 90-degree water right now. It's going to take it a while. This is a big house with a big system. You know, it's got to warm all that water up. But the circulator is running. Our temperature is increasingly getting warmer as it comes up. So we're just going to go ahead and let this thing do its thing and make sure everything's good to go. It's a slow process, guys. We're up to just about 100, but like I said, this is a big system. It's got cold water and it hasn't been fired up yet this year. So I want to confirm all his radiators are working and don't need bled out. I also want to double check this limit. And while we're at it, we got his outside entrance opened up. I'm going to help him get a couple of things out of the basement. And so I've got nowhere to go. I've got nowhere to be. So I'm going to let this thing heat up, do its thing, and make sure everything is good and safe for him, all right? It's drafting nicely, no spillover. You don't want hot, wet gases, you know, doing this. You want them going in. So everything's drafting, the draft damper's open. Really, he's got a nice little boiler here. It's hooked to an ancient system, but it seems to be working pretty well. All right, so I got my cover out of the way. And as you can see, I'm at 3.6. If I can get this thing to stay. There we go. And there we are. Like I said, it wasn't overfired by much. 3.5, 3.49, 3.5 on the money. I'm happy with that. I always double check it. I always put the cover back on. Sometimes that will make your pressure go up or down a hair, but I think we're pretty close. We're pretty good there. I'm happy with that. It was slightly overfired, but not by much. Let me get this cover put back on. These can be tricky. I always reverse thread and then thread. And as you saw, it went up a hair, but we're right at 3.49. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna shut this off. I'm gonna get my test port taken out. And as I always say, guys, make sure you put this plug back in, because if you don't, you could find yourself in a whole lot of trouble. While we wait for this thing to heat up, I'm just gonna go around and we're gonna make sure that each of these radiators are heating up. We don't have any cold ones. So let's take a walk. And we're making our way up to the second floor. This house he has is really cool. It's old, but it was, I came down here after he bought it, and it was like walking around a fun house, seeing everything. How's it feel? Warm?
Yeah, it's definitely warm.
We don't have to take everything off. As long as it's putting out heat, I'm sure. We bled all these last year, and I really haven't introduced any air to the system, so we're gonna go around, make sure they're warm. Other than that, I'm not gonna bleed anything. So if we find a cold one, I'll bleed it out. Look at this. That's a thing of beauty. The covers they got for these cast iron radiators. Let's pull the cover off it real quick.
This one actually usually gets, this room gets the warmest. So this one usually, I feel like, produces the most.
I think we're good. I got nice warm water coming in, and I got nice warm water going out. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Now this one's warm.
Now, I don't know if there is one up on this top deck.
Well, let's go find out. Look at the woodwork in this old house. Very nice. Well, he doesn't have any radiators up here or any AC. So let's just get a shot of the city. As you can see, that's Pittsburgh right there. You got a train going by. Pretty cool place. Oh yeah. That's got to get irritating at night. You probably don't even hear it anymore, do you?
No, a lot of people think it's calming, like a dryer spinning, that it's good for sleeping. So I don't know, you get used to it and it doesn't bother you, but it's a good view of the cathedral up there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this house has seen a lot of people. We are at 100, almost 140 degrees. I don't think I'm gonna sit here and roast out his house. I'm gonna lower the temperature on the, I'm gonna lower it, make sure it shuts off. If there's any issues, he'll let me know. So we're lowering it. That's 150, there's 140. So the limit's doing its job. Like I said, I'm gonna let him know what to look for once it gets cold enough that this boiler's running non-stop. We're hungry, and the limit seems to be working. I took it down to 140. We are at just about 140 and it shut off. We'll kick it back up to 180, and there we go. We're firing back up. Brent, if you wanna go ahead and lower your thermostat.
What do you want it at?
Whatever you want it at.
Okay.
That'll be that, guys. We cleaned the burners, we cleaned the pilot, we swept out the bottom of the boiler, we tested the limit. Even though I'd like to see it all the way up to 180, it's getting hot in the house. Circulator's good, amp draw's good. The flue damper is opening and operating properly. We drained down the expansion tank. He's got the Weil McLain Gold. Southside Plumbing and Heating Company put it in 2010. 12/10 of 2010. So you got a 10-year-old boiler here, but it looks like it's in good shape to me. So, cover's on, temperature's good. We're gonna keep an eye on that water feed valve, but it seems to be working. Our pressures are about 16 pounds of pressure, and we're up to 140. It heated the house up incredibly. So I'm gonna call it good on this one, guys. We're gonna walk down to Carson Street, find a place to get a bite to eat. So come along with me and see some of the Pittsburgh sights. All right, y'all, we're on an adventure. We're going down this, holy crap, dude. I feel like I'm out in the jungle. Dude, we are on some crazy ass steps. All set? Man, just serious steps here, Brent. All right, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed that video. A little boiler tune-up on a residential unit for my cousin Brent. Walking down around Pittsburgh, getting a bite to eat. It was fun to make, and I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I enjoyed making it. I want to thank you guys again for watching the videos. If you like the videos, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon. That'll notify you anytime I got a new video coming out. Leave me a comment. Hit like. Send me an email. I appreciate you guys watching. And from Pittsburgh, PA, and my cousin Brent's house, I'm going to see you on the next one.